Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this broadcast. I'm delighted to be presenting in partnership tonight with the Americana Community Music Association. And we've been talking about this for months. I was supposed to be in Florida right now, and obviously that was a plan made in the before times. And now we're here. Now we're in the era of me standing in a studio in my basement and sharing music with you. Thank you so much for that great opening set, David. That was wonderful. And I think that was recorded, so people who may have missed that, you can go back to ACMA's website and catch that. And really great to be here. Alice Schaefer and all the volunteers down at ACMA in Fort Myers, thank you so much for all that you do for the acoustic music community across North America. The name of your venue is known and your work is appreciated by people who do what I do all across North America. So thanks for everything you do to keep the music flowing. I'm just going to double check one thing here. And we'll get the show going. Asked me here to tell you about my neighbors and my friends, to talk about the who and what, the where and how and when. But I won't give you anything you don't already know. But if you'd like, I'll sing that list of songs before I go. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Well, you say it's un-American to do the things I do. Well, I sing for justice, liberty, and civil rights, it's true. Well, I say it's un-American to ask me how I vote, how I pray, or what I believe. But here's a song I wrote. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Many of you know the story of this song. I wrote it on the morning that Pete Seeger passed away. And I wrote it based on conversations that Pete and I had, and also on his testimony from 1955 before the House Un-American Activities Committee. He was called to testify about his music, which he did, but his answers were vague enough that they frustrated those asking the questions. Finally, he said, well, fellas, I brought my banjo with me to Congress today, and if you'd like, I'd be happy to sing some of those songs that you find so troubling. Well, they declined his gracious offer, and the questions continued, till finally one of the congressmen stomped his foot and said, Mr. Seeger, are you pleading the Fifth Amendment? He said, why, no, sir, I'm pleading the First Amendment. If I had a Heather, I'd have her in the morning, I'd have her in the evening, all over this land. I'd have her out danger, I'd have her out warning, I'd have her out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. If you want to send me to prison, I guess that's the way it'll be. 'cause I won't give you fodder for your paranoid machine. If the price of my silence is shackles, well then fellas, take me away. For I will live to sing again and rise with a brand new day. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines but dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. You can sing along from home. Da 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 da. It's the easy part. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Yes, the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Thank you so much. This evening is going to be a mix of familiar songs, and I'm throwing in several cover songs written by colleagues or friends or artists whose work has really affected me, influenced me deeply, or songs that are just a comfort to me to sing, because that feels in part like what all of us need right now, is that old favorite sweater to put on. And so the song, there were also some very specific requests for this evening's show. Some people caught me as long ago as 6 weeks ago and said, I'm going to be dialing into this particular show. Is it possible for you to play a particular song? And this was one of those requests, and I'm glad to play it. I haven't been playing it much lately, and it's a beautiful song written by my dear friend Dave Gunning up in Nova Scotia. It's called These Hands. Some hands have held the world together. Some hands have fought in wars forever. So tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? Some hands have blessed a million people. Some hands help free the world from evil. So tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? The world could use a hero of the humankind. Tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? Some hands can stop a life from dying. Some hands comfort a baby crying. Tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? The world could use a hero of the humankind. Tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? I want to sing it from my heart. I want to hear it in the wind till it blows around the world and comes back again. And all that we can ask is for hours to be free, to use them when we want, for whatever the need. Some hands, they give voice to a nation. Some hands wrote, oh, the times they are a-changing. Tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? The world could use a hero of the humankind. Tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? The world could use a hero of the humankind. Tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? Tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to do an old Woody Guthrie song for you now, one of my favorites. And yeah, one of the first Woody Guthrie songs that I learned, actually. And it should tell you something that this is what a 12-year-old guitar player wanted to learn. Song called Pretty Boy Floyd. When I first moved from the West Coast back to the Midwest, I got a gig in Ohio along the Ohio River, and I found out that it was the town in which Pretty Boy Floyd had been killed, and that made me a little queasy to begin with, him being a folk hero and all. And then I found out that they were putting me up in a bed and breakfast. And that B&B used to be the mortuary in the town. And after they'd killed Pretty Boy Floyd, they brought him to the mortuary to be embalmed, to sent back to Oklahoma. Well, now I had to live with the knowledge as I was heading off to sleep that I was not only staying in the town where Pretty Boy Floyd had been killed, but I was sleeping in the very building where he had been embalmed. So I wandered through the halls of that place. I was the only guest staying there that night. The hosts weren't even there. I had the whole place to myself. And I wandered around that building with my guitar, and I sang songs. I thought, I can't fix the past, but I can sing songs to the ghost of Pretty Boy Floyd. If you gather round, my children, a story I will tell about Pretty Boy Floyd the outlaw. Oklahoma knew him well. It was in the town of Shawnee on a Saturday afternoon. His wife beside him in the carriage, and into town they rode. Their deputy sheriff approached them in a manner rather rude, using vulgar words and language. But his wife, she overheard. Well, pretty boy grabbed a lock chain, and the deputy grabbed a gun. And in the fight that followed, he laid that deputy down. Well, they took to the trees and timbers. Yes, he led a life of shame. Every crime in Oklahoma was added to his name. Yes, he took to the trees and timbers of the Canadian River shore. But the outlaw found a welcome at many farmers' door. Some tell you of an outlaw, a stranger that did roll, who paid off their mortgage and saved that little home. Others tell you of a stranger who had come to take a meal, and underneath his napkin left $1,000 bill. It was in Oklahoma City, yes, it was on Christmas Day. Come a carload full of groceries and a letter that did say, will you say that I'm an outlaw? Yes, you say that I'm a thief. Well, here's a Christmas dinner for the families on relief. Well, as through this life I've traveled, well, I've seen lots of crazy men. Some will rob you with a 6-gun, and some with a fountain pen. But as through this life you ramble, yes, as through this life you roll, you will never see an outlaw drive a family from their home. There you go, Woody Guthrie, Pretty Boy Floyd. Great song. I think as a teenager, what I liked so much about that was that verse about through this life you travel. You'll see lots of crazy men. Some will rob you with a 6-gun and some with a fountain pen. That struck me pretty hard in my rebellious youth, which I never quite escaped. So, huzzah. Well, there's a bunch of folk with birthdays this week, and I wanted to try and acknowledge all of them. And I probably won't get to all of them, but I wanted to give a shout out to Lisette Nenninger, my friend in Seattle. Happy birthday tomorrow. Sharon Ganellen, happy birthday tomorrow. A friend around here. My niece Naya yesterday. And my cousin David Kilbride just had a birthday on the 31st on Halloween. And my brother Jerry Jencks, who passed away sadly in 2003. We celebrated his birthday on the 30th of October. And this is a song that I wrote after he passed. But it's felt more true to me this year as we all go through our own stages of grief because of COVID, because of politics, because of personal losses, things we're struggling with in society. The song has become more important to me than it's been in a long time. And I've heard from a number of you telling me how much this song means to you. And so this one's Dealer's Choice, all about love. I don't know how to keep on walking this line between my visions and the highway sign. don't know how to keep on striking the spark to ignite the flames that will pierce the dark. But I'm already gone if I can't live while I'm here. Yes, I'm already gone if I can't love through the fear. It's awful hard to keep from being a wreck when I feel the breath of the reaper cooled on my neck. It's hard to live inside the rhyme and the rhythm of the song, to respirate my gratitude and pretend that nothing is wrong. But I'm already gone if I can't live while I'm here. Yes, I'm already gone if I can't love through the fear. So I hang on tight and watch the slipping sand, try to hold the contradictions in the palm of my hand. For every grain that tumbles, there are more that remain. But the hand that closes to a fist loses all that it contains. Let it crack wide open, let this broken heart bleed. Let it soak through the soil and nourish the seed. Let the water from my eyes be a gift to the parched land, till all my sisters and brothers rejoice hand in hand. 'Cause I'm already gone if I can't live while I'm here. Yes, I'm already gone if I can't love through the fear. If I can't love through the fear, sisters and brothers, we must love through the fear. It's all about love. It's all about love. That's your part, sing it. It's all about love. It's all about love. Sing it. It's all about love. It's all about love. Speaking of sisters and brothers, my sister Jen gave me this sanctuary sign many, many years ago. And I realized that over the arc of the last many months, that the world has been different than it was before. That this room where I get to sing and make music and work on recording radio shows and do all kinds of things, this room has become my sanctuary, my safe space. And I decided I would hang that sign there for a while. And it also speaks to my hope that we can again rise to the occasion and find ways to create sanctuary for other people, to create safe spaces, to consider the meaning of that word not just as a place, but as a spirit of welcoming and as a spirit of safety. However things go in this country in the coming hours, in the coming days, there are going to be a whole lot of people that feel somehow disenfranchised. There are going to be people who feel left out. And I think part of the job right now is, rather than confirming their worst fears about us or our worst fears about them, I think we need to try and step outside of the us and them for a while and figure out what it means to be a nation that seeks to move in common purpose. And I know that's going to be a lot of work. There's a lot of wounds. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of hardship that many people have gone through. And there are many injustices that need to be redressed. But we don't do that by further making people feel like they're on the outside. The job is to figure out how to reach invitationally to bring them out. My friend Chris Matthews was on a thing with me and a bunch of other folks last Sunday night at the Greenwich Village Folk Festival, and she used a phrase that I loved. She said, we need to call people out, but we also need to call them in. And I thought that was a really great way of phrasing it. And so I hope that we can have that spirit moving forward, because, of course, for many of us, the work will be the same as it has been for years. We will stand up and speak the truth that we know to speak and express the compassion and the kindness that we seek to create in the world. We will let that be a personal practice as we speak up for justice all at once. And this song captures that spirit so beautifully for me. In 2010, I got to go to the Caribbean as a cultural ambassador with the U.S. State Department and give concerts in the Caribbean. And it was an amazing experience. And it was interesting for me to stand up in such public ways and claim being a patriot. And when I came back from that trip, I realized that something profound had changed within me, because I no longer saw myself as somehow oppositional to other people. I saw myself as trying to figure out how to build bridges in the direction of justice, in the direction of the kind of world that I want to live in. And I saw this work much more through the lens of diplomacy and being an ambassador, as opposed to being a protest singer. And this is a hymn that was set to the melody that the composer Sibelius wrote, Finlandia. And it's just a stunning piece of music. This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and mine. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams on clover leaf and pine. But other lands have sunlight too and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as mine. Oh, hear my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for their land and for mine. Oh, hear my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for their land and for mine. like to go from there to a song written by my dear departed friend John Fromer. Some of you knew John Fromer and knew his work. An extraordinarily gifted singer-songwriter, humanitarian, diehard, total leftist, and one of the most compassionate men I ever met in my life. And he wrote this song. It wouldn't be a Joe Jencks show with some time out for tuning. I will quote my father, the engineer, here and say, any job worth doing is worth doing right. Welcome into my land. It's your learn to now. I want to shake your hand. I want to know your story, the journey you've been on. I want to hear your language. I want to learn your song. The earth knows no borders, just one sky above. Friendship has no fences, no walls can stop the love. Welcome, make my home yours. These arms are open, and so are the doors. The faces of the world are all around us today. Many voices make for harmony, so let the music play. My life is richer for your presence here today. Let's break bread together while our children play. Welcome, I hope you like it here. I hope that you are safe and your children without fear. But if they come to take you in the dead of the night, I'll be there beside you to stand up for your rights. I'll harbor you, I'll fight for you, as you would do for me. And when everyone is welcome, we will all be free. Welcome into my land. It's your learn to now. I want to shake your hand. I want to know your story, the journey you've been on. I want to hear your language. I want to learn your song. The earth knows no borders, just one sky above. Friendship has no fences, no walls can stop the love. Welcome, I say welcome. So I mentioned Chris Matthews. She's working on a new album called Change Makers, and she's trying to raise $15,000. And she's getting up there, but she could use some help. So if any of you have an interest in getting a great record by a wonderful artist in the DC Baltimore area who travels around the country, go check out that record and maybe support it. I proudly pledged some money to that project, and I can't wait to hear those songs recorded. So. Well, I was mentioning my brother Jerry earlier. This was one of his favorite songs, and I sing this joyfully in his honor this evening. It's called Get Together. I know many of you know this. Sing along from wherever you happen to be, which will crack me up if some of you are like in the checkout line at Target or something. But, I mean, go for it. Fly your freak flag, do your thing. Love is but a song we sing, and fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains rain, or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, and you may not know why. Come on, people, now, smile on each other. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some will come and some will go, and we shall surely pass. When the one who left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people, now, smile on each other. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. So if you hear the song I sing, then you will understand. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hands. Just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. Come on, people, now, smile on each other. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people, now, smile on each other. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people, now, smile on each other. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Right now, right now, right now. So my good friend Charlie Bernhardt, somebody I met at the Great Labor Arts Exchange close to 20 years ago, is retiring after decades as the cantor for Oseh Shalom in Laurel, Maryland, a Reconstructionist synagogue. And so I say to Charlie in Maryland and all of the folks listening tonight from all around the country, for whom this pertains, good Shabbos and Shabbat Shalom. And I'm going to sing this song in honor of Charlie's retirement as cantor. And it's a song that I wrote specifically for him and for the Oseh Shalom community many years ago. And again with the tuning. That, along with the cough in the middle of the song, is little intentional breadcrumbs I leave so that you know this was not pre-recorded and rehearsed. Because, like, why would you leave that in a take, you know? This is a song called Tikkun Olam, Heal the World, Repair the World. It says Tikkun Olam Bekesh Shalom, Heal the World and Work for Peace. And it's ideas that come out of Jewish mysticism and out of Talmudic wisdom. I didn't really understand when Charlie and I were first getting to know each other that the Talmud is the collected commentaries on Hebrew scripture and commentaries on commentaries, and that it spans, hundreds, if not a few thousand years, the Talmud. I mean, it goes back to Hillel and before that, and I didn't understand that, but Charlie kept quoting the Talmud and giving me great stories, and I thought, this is very interesting stuff, the Talmud. I should read the Talmud. And he said, how old are you? And I told him, he said, too late, you'll never get through it. And but it has not stopped me from learning many, many things. And there's a wonderful story that I think relates to the world that we're living in right now. And I'd like to tell that story before I sing this song. There was a young couple in Europe living in a small town. And the trade that the family practiced was no longer needed in that town, and they needed to move in order to make a living. And so they went to a neighboring town, and they met with the rabbi, and they explained their predicament. And they said, we're wondering if this would be a good place for us to move. And the rabbi asked them questions about their town and how they felt about their town. And they said, we live in the most extraordinary place. People are so kind and so gracious to each other. People give to each other freely. They take care of each other's children. The elders belong to all of us. We all look out for them. And we're just going to be so sad to leave that place. And the rabbi smiled and said, you should move here. I think you will find it very much the same. Some weeks later, another couple approached the rabbi, inquiring about moving to that town and whether they might find a good home there. And the rabbi asked them the same question. Tell me about the town that you live in. And they said, that's why we have to leave. We live in a terrible place. Everybody is unkind to each other. Nobody looks out for each other. Everybody's just out for themselves. Nobody can spare a moment to be gracious or kind to one another. And the rabbi said, I don't think you should move to this town. I'm quite sure you'll find it just as unpleasant as the one where you live now. I think that's important because we have to recognize on some level that we do have a hand in creating the reality that we inhabit. We can't change everything. We can't change all things. There are some things that are so big, they are totally out of our control. But we do have a hand in how we relate to the world around us. And I think this song speaks a little bit to that. Tikkun Olam. Tikkun olam, tikkun olam, bakeshalo. Tikkun olam, tikkun olam, tikkun olam, bakeshalo. A tale is told of how the world was made in 7 days, 6 of them for work, 1 to rest and pray. Then God placed the holy light into a vessel made of clay. But it was fractured by our sin, and the pieces fell away. Tikkun olam, tikkun olam, tikkun olam, bakeshalo. Why was God so careless as to lose this sacred light? Now we must gather up the shards and set creation right. It's a task we may not finish, but we each must lend our hands as we love through imperfection and we heal our broken lands. Tikkun olam, tikkun olam, tikkun olam, bakeshalo. And so we tend the garden, picking stones and pulling weeds. We water with compassion the fragile sacred seed. We are partners in creation, and we let God's true light shine when by faith and solidarity we show our love divine. Tikkun olam, tikkun olam, tikkun olam, bakeshalo. Tikkun olam, tikkun olam, tikkun olam, bakeshalo. Shabbat Shalom. I've had some requests for this next song for several weeks, and I just took a little break from playing it for a while, but I'm happy to play it for you tonight. It also seems appropriate at the moment. It's a song I wrote actually Y2K week, when the whole world was freaking out, or at least certain elements of people were freaking out, that the world was going to come to an end, and that there was going to be pandemonium and mass rioting and shortages of food and shortages of critical supplies, that everything was going to fall apart. And yeah, stop me when this sounds familiar. Some of us just didn't buy into it. We didn't buy into the idea, even if there was some weird hiccup or glitch with computers. We trusted people who understand these things to figure them out. And so I went to Puget Sound Guitar Workshop for the weekend. Most of the week, actually. Went to a camp in between Christmas and New Year's there, and had a wonderful time and wrote this song. It's the back end of the season and the wind is bitter cold. It's just the sort of morning to make young bones feel low. The tanks are all topped off, we've got the permits free and clear. One more good haul could see us through until we start next year. Well, it's my call alone to making what I hate to blow. 6 families now, including mine, dependent on the things I think I know. I know the wind and water, and I am not afraid. But living off the ocean is a complicated trade. I never get my profit margins or my pride confused with the safety of this vessel or its good and hearty crew. But the time is now or never, and the weather looks to hold. I gather up the crew on deck, we bow our heads, pray before we go. St. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crash out of the wave. Bring us safely to our families and keep us from the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you this day. I've fished in weather worse than this at least 100 times. I still can't shake the shivers that are crawling up my spine. 11 hours out, the swells are getting deep. We can't put the nets out and it's too damn rough to sleep. If we stick it out till morning, things may calm down with the light. If it turns against us, we'll be lucky if we see another night. St. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crash out of the wave. Bring us safely to our families and keep us from the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you this day. Well, it was on a night like this my father went away. Even though my mother begged and pleaded him to stay, I was standing there and waiting as his trawler left the docks. Saw the pictures of the wreckage that they found upon the rocks. 7 men were rescued of the 9 that left that day. Last they saw that captain, he was on the bridge. They swear they heard him say, St. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crash out of the waves. Bring them safely to their families, quickly to their graves. St. Christopher, I call on you this day. Now the difference between bravery and foolishness is small. A healthy sense of fear can bring perspective to us all. I know you men are hungry for the cash this catch could bring. And if we go back empty, we'll be real tight come spring. But I've learned history's a lesson, and it isn't worth the pain. The things we stand to lose are so much greater than the things we have to gain. St. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. We will go back to our families. It isn't worth the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you this day. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. We will go back to our families. It isn't worth the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you. Christopher, we call on you. St. Christopher, we thank you for this day. Well, thank you so much for the requests. A few more I'll get to a little bit later in the show. And again, a big shout out to the Americana Community Music Association in Fort Myers, Florida. My co-presenter this evening hosting this show, and Alice Schaefer down there, and a whole crew of volunteers, extraordinarily kind people. Many of you on the folk circuit have at one time or another passed through that venue, and many fans have gone to Florida and seen shows there. Just a great group of people, and I miss you, and I'm so glad that we can connect tonight, even in this way. And so now it'd be a good time for me to do sort of a little plug and say that I offer these concerts for free. I offer them to anybody who wants to enjoy the music. I know this is a tough time for a lot of people. It hasn't been the easiest time for musicians either. So if you're in a position to be kind, be gracious, offer some financial support this evening, or for other concerts you've listened to, that's very much appreciated. Never expected, but always very much appreciated. I'm going to sing a song now that was written by my colleague and friend Billy Bragg, and it's one of my favorite songs he ever wrote. It's called Between the Wars. I actually did a COVID thing and cut some of my own hair a couple of weeks back. It was getting tangled in my guitar strap, and so the COVID experiences. Also sending out good vibes tonight. I just got word from some folks that wish to remain anonymous, but some good friends and stalwart folkies who have COVID, just sending out some love their direction. Diehard fans and supporters of the music, and I'll just trust that it anonymously gets where it's going. Those good wishes. I'll also mention this instrument and one that I'll play in a little bit over here are both bouzoukis, B-O-U-Z-O-U-K-I, bouzoukis, instruments that were built for me by Baird Blaine in Fayetteville, Arkansas, a genuine friend and an extraordinary luthier. And he built both of these instruments for me. Check him out, Baird Guitars, B-A-Y-A-R-D. And as long as I'm stopped, I guess I'll do one more plug and say that if you are not subscribed to the Joe Jencks official music YouTube channel, please do subscribe. We're trying to get up over 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting close. But a lot more production tools show up for me on the back end of this website once I cross over 1,000 subscribers. So if you would like it and subscribe, it doesn't cost you anything, and you don't get a bunch of spam as a result of it. But it's just it's one more way of helping musicians figure out how to keep moving forward in this time, and it's very helpful. So thanks for that. Between the Wars. This will be so much better after all that big intro and that great playing there. Not so great. This would be better if I put it in the right key. I was a docker, I was a railway man between the wars. I raised a family in times of austerity, with sweat at the foundry between the wars. I paid the union, and as things got harder, I looked to the government to help the working man, but they brought prosperity down at the armory. We're arming for peace, me boys, between the wars. I kept the faith, I kept on voting, not for the iron fist, but for the not for the iron fist, but for the helping hand. Theirs is a land with walls all around it. Mine is a faith in my fellow man. Theirs is a land of hope and glory. Mine is the green fields and the factory floor. Theirs are the skies all dark with bombers. Mine is the peace we knew between the wars. Call up the craftsmen and bring me the draftsmen. Build me a pathway from cradle to grave, and I'll give my consent to any government that does not deny a man a living wage. Go find the young men, never to fight again. Grab the banners from the days gone by. Sweet moderation, the heart of this nation. Desert us not, we are between the wars. Sweet moderation, the heart of this nation. Desert us not, we are between the wars. I also had a request for this next song, so of course I'll do it. I'm always honored to know that these songs live in your lives and live in your heart and live as part of the soundtrack as you move through the world. And this is one that I wrote about my own family history, and it applies to many, many people. But as I sing it, I'm also aware of how many people it doesn't apply to. And in that spirit of what Chris Matthews said about calling people out and calling them in, I hold the duality of this song and its beauty and what it invites us to reach for and move toward, which is allowing this country to truly be a place of welcome for all people, to be a place of welcome for all people who will honor its laws and honor its traditions, honor the Constitution, and seek to build a peaceful and civil society. Distant lands, the tempest tossed with hopeful hearts and calloused hands, reach toward the light, the torch held high, and cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children hear. Shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. And so it was with my own kin. They sailed from Sweden and from France and Ireland, their earthly cares packed in their bags. They cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomes them with open arms. She said, let my children hear. Shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Now we're locking down the borders and we're filling up the jails, and we say they don't belong. How conveniently do we forget that we've all come to sing the same sweet song? Will the dream survive the strain? Will huddled masses have a chance to learn its sweet refrain? Or will we fall into our fears and turn our backs against the lady of the harbor? And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children hear. Shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Oh you lady of the harbor. Thank you. Had a request for this next song as well. And it's one that I have not sung in quite a while. But I was refreshing myself on the words today, and it just seems so incredibly appropriate to where we are right now. So, a shout out to Mary. Thank you for asking for this song and for turning my head to it again for the first time in a while. It's called Given Myself to Love. I've given myself to flights of fancy to see what's around the next bend. I've given myself to things that are broken to put them together again. I've given up hope and I've given my best. It all depends on the day. Given up so many things that I wanted, and still the sun rises each day. Some measure life by their losses and gains. For them there is never enough. But I measure life by the hearts I have known. For I've given myself to love. I've given the money I had in my pocket to someone in obvious need. I've given myself to the kindness of strangers, and I've given thanks for good deeds. I've given solace and I've given comfort. I've given a hand to a friend. I've given myself to the things I believe, though sometimes I don't know to what end. Some measure life by their losses and gains. For them there is never enough. But I measure life by the hearts I have known. For I've given myself to love. Some people say that they have no regret. Life's just a roll of the dice. But I say if you live life paying attention, you see that each choice has a price. I've given some people more than they bargained, and others still cause for concern. Given myself to the fire of passion, and I have been willingly burned. And just when it seems that the story is over, and all that remains is goodbye, there is one thing of which you can be certain: I'll always give love one more try. Some measure life by their losses and gains. For them there is never enough. But I measure life by the hearts I have known. For I've given myself to love. Yes, I measure life by the hearts I have known, for I've given myself to love. This next song was written by one of my musical heroes, a man named Bob Gibson, and it seems so appropriate of the moment right now. Some of you may disagree. That is your prerogative, but it is a song of healing. A song that comes out of our own history. One time, my friends Joe and Nan Shockley, some of you know them, they live in Montgomery, Alabama. They travel all over to see folk shows. And they drove all the way to Asheville, North Carolina to hear me play this one song. Joe just wanted to hear it live. He'd only ever heard it on a record. The news was brung from Richmond in that fading April sun. Lee had handed Grant his sword and the war was finally won. And to the streets the people spilled, feeling the excitement build as the crowd around the White House milled, asking, is it true? It's finally done. Inside the White House, Lincoln heard them calling out his name. He sat there wondering what to say to ease their years of pain. Someone yelled, come out the door and tell us what you've got in store for the rebels who have lost the war. So out into the porch Abe Lincoln came. He said, we are gathered not in anger, but in celebration. Let's be thankful we are once again a single nation. Let's stand together reassured, now that peace has been secured. Our nation's illness can be cured, and I suggest the overture for this occasion. He said, let the band play Dixie, play that tune that holds its head up high and proud, and let our nation once divided, bloody but unbowed, take the swords of war and beat them back into a plow. On the day that Lee surrendered, Mr. Lincoln told the crowd, the band play Dixie. A tired Union soldier hobbled on his only limb, filled with bitter memories the war had left with him. Dragged his wooden leg and cane, his face was set and creased with pain. As he stumbled, fell, and rose again, he wondered what the future held for him. He said, he spied a black child kneeling near in humble gratitude. He knelt down right beside her to share her thankful mood. Grateful words were raised in prayer. God, in your sweet loving care, our broken lives now please repair, and let our wounded nation be renewed. And let the band play Dixie, play that tune that holds its head up high and proud, and let our nation once divided, bloody but unbowed, take the swords of war and beat them back into a plow. On the day that Lee surrendered, Mr. Lincoln told the crowd. Let the band play Dixie. Let the band play Dixie. I had a special request for this next song as well. It's part of the project that I worked on this summer for the Library of Congress Folk Archives. I did a bunch of research into the Rayford Prison in Florida, not all that far from where Fort Myers is, in the grand scheme of things, at least for a guy from the Chicago area. And you can find stuff on my website on joejencks.com. In fact, Anna, who is running the chat there for Joe Jencks Music Official. Hi, Anna. Thanks for your help tonight and always. She might be able to go grab that link and paste it into the sidebar chat there so that you can go watch the video. But I put together a recording project for the Library of Congress that involved research into anything I wanted that was in the folk archives. And I knew that I wanted to go to the Rayford Prison in Florida in 1939 and 3 extraordinary days of recording that John A. Lomax and Ruby Tyrrell Lomax had there. And this is a song that was recorded on Sunday morning in the chapel by Ruby. And it's called Battle Axe. And this was originally recorded a cappella, and a song leader and people singing around her, and all women. And there's just no way I could be that righteous on my own. But I get close with this instrument, which is my battle axe. And a great bit of American history and a great song that I was very proud to resurrect from our nation's archives and put back into circulation. And you'll hear some strange sounds coming across. That is not something wrong with your speaker or with your device or the stream. That's on purpose, believe it or not. He's a battle axe in the time of the battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. A shelter in a mighty storm. Can no man do like Jesus? Not a mumbling word he said. He just walked right down to Lazarus' grave and he raised him from the dead. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. A shelter in a mighty storm. Easter night he started back home. Stopped in Jerusalem while pressing along. Folks heard a doctor's got more treasures than gold. Doctor, can you feed a dying soul? He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. A shelter in a mighty storm. Had it not been for Adam, there would not have been no sin. Adam broke the laws of these commands. Now we got a debt to pay. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. A shelter in a mighty storm. When Mary was seeking for religion, she was only 12 years old. She was skipping over hills and knocking. She knocked at Abraham's door. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. A shelter in a mighty storm. Just like Abraham and Sarah, Mary had her loving son. She brought to the world a Savior, and now every battle's won. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. A shelter in a mighty storm. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. A shelter in a mighty storm. A is for Almighty, that's true. B is for baby like me and you. C is for Christ sent from God. D is for the doctor, man of all. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. A shelter in a mighty storm. A shelter in a mighty storm. A shelter in a mighty storm. It's for Gary and Catherine out in the Seattle area. Thanks for that. And yeah, if you want to check out more of that, you can find more information on my website about that project that I did. It was really a whole lot of fun. And it involves some anthropological songwriting because, of course, the recordings were in places imprecise or sort of left out verses because you can only squeeze so much on these little, cylinder, these little discs that they were recording on. So they wouldn't record whole songs, and it left gaps in narrative that needed to be filled. And the cool thing about our folk archives is that they belong to all of us. This is public domain material, and so it was really my joy to research songwriting styles of the time and merge existing knowledge that I had about that so that I could create new verses to older songs that fit in with the style of the song itself. And yeah, that was great. The Library of Congress Folk Archives doing a great job there. So I'm just going to play a couple more songs tonight and call it a night. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. Thanks again to the Americana Community Music Association. Thanks to Alice Schaefer and all the volunteers down there. Thanks to Anna Ratliff helping with the stream tonight and a whole bunch of people. Graham Lindsay, not to be confused with Lindsey Graham. Graham Lindsay is a friend of mine up in the Maritimes in Canada who's been sort of an on-call tech resource. Many, many thanks to him. And Dan Senny, who's on the Local 1000, AFM Local 1000 tech team, and he's been incredibly helpful along with other folks. And Aidan and Christine, Friction Farm, thanks to them. Aidan and Christine and I have been sort of forging through this brave new world of technology and broadcasting and comparing a lot of notes. And I'm just really grateful for the camaraderie and yeah. So I'm going to play a song, speaking of Canadians, with Graham Lindsay. I'm going to sing a song that was written by my friend John Brooks. And I keep getting requests for this song, so obviously it speaks to more people than just me because it's one of my most requested songs. It's called Mercy. I used to admire most a melody and all it could do with love and words. I used to admire most a poet who with a pen untangled this world into verse. I used to admire all that I thought profound. I plagiarized the prophets and the saints. Oh, but now that I'm older, oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy that I admire most. I waited out my low youth for a fallow spectacle in line, snake and brown coliseums. When I moshed in the drench under fame's sophist clenched, and I paid hard-earned money just to see 'em. Oh, but now that I'm older, oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy that I admire most. I admire the pure of heart that will one thing. I admire the steady in their routine. I admire decision and the mind that endures it, and those who speak though they be shamed. I admire the reckless voices for the voiceless, and the man standing in the path of tanks. Oh, but now that I'm older, oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy. May we all find mercy and charity and kindness. And health. Oh, I think I want this one. I'm going to wrap up with another one that you all will know and can sing along with. And it fits my mood this particular moment to do so. And I hope it fits your mood as well. Thanks again. And keep in touch. I have another show coming up for those of you watching real time or watching in the next, few days. I have a show on Sunday night at ISIS Music Hall with the Mountain Spirit Concerts in partnership. And I'm pretty excited about that in Asheville. I know that when we're all watching online, it shouldn't seem like location matters, but obviously those people in the Asheville community feel a certain loyalty and fealty to their music presenters just as you do in Florida. And so I want to set that out there. That'll be at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on Sunday evening, and a fair amount of different material than what I'm playing tonight, although a few crossovers. But as you've noticed, I mix it up. Every show I do is different. And yeah, thanks for being here, and sing along with me on one last song tonight. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, and I've followed my footsteps through the sparkling sands of her diamond desert, and all around me a voice came sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there, and on that sign it said private property, but on the other side it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. In the center of the city, in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I saw my people. They stood there hungry, I stood there wondering, is this land made for you and me? This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for for you and me. Sing it one more time. This land was made for you and me. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for showing up to support ACMA, Americana Community Music Association, Fort Myers, and thanks for supporting me, Joe Jencks. Thanks for listening. Please come back. There's other videos on the channel, concerts that I've recorded over the last many months. Please feel free to watch any of those, enjoy them, and hope to see you again soon. Take care. All right, you talked me into it. Thank you. I'll do one of the songs that I wrote while I was on tour in Ireland, and yeah, thanks for that. Just all right. Again. If you're looking for more information, joejencks.com, joejencks.com. Most of you are fans who are tracking all that. I've got live stream shows coming up on November 6th, November 21st, Fine Line Arts here in Illinois. I'll actually be doing that one in person. They figured out that they can have 10 tables with 2 people each, so they're going to have a COVID-distanced small audience for me there, but it'll be broadcast anywhere you can pick up the internet. And the 5th of December, I'll be doing a concert in partnership with Focus Music in the Washington, D.C. area. On the 12th of December, I'll be doing a show I'm calling Roots and Wings, and I'll be exploring a little bit more deeply my Irish heritage and tying that into some other themes about visions we have for the future, more hopeful visions. So honoring the ancestors, carrying it forward. And then on the 19th of December, I'm going to do something I've been wanting to do for years. I'm going to do a seasonal concert. I'm calling it a Midwinter's Night. And so I want you to get that one on your calendar straight away, 19th of December. And that will be a really interesting merging of some traditional holiday pieces and a lot of songs written by friends and colleagues of mine that relate to issues of social justice and seasonal relevance. And I guarantee it'll be unlike any holiday-themed concert you've ever heard. So please tune in and please keep in touch and do stay safe. Stay safe. Whatever else happens, stay safe. And this is a song for when we get to be together again in person. It's called The Coming of the Years. When I first came here to wander these mountains, my heart was tattered and torn. Ever the rover and all the world over, no land ever felt like a home. But here in the crags and the bogs and the valleys, I found some measure of ease, where the song of the wind is as sweet to behold as the beautiful rose of Tralee. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. Now I have been blessed to live a good life. I can count my friends by the score, and I have shared meals and moments of kindness. God willing, I'll know many more. But when the burden I've chosen to shoulder is more than I can stand, I find that my thoughts wander back up to Kerry, that rugged and beautiful land. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. When I have traveled all of my journeys and sung all of my songs, when I have given the best that I have and righted most of my wrongs, then take me back to the place that I love. Let me gaze out over the sea. Take me back to the mountains of Kerry and let my spirit run free. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. I don't know when, but I'll see you again in the coming of the years. I don't know when, but I'll see you again in the coming of the years. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great day. A great weekend. Stay safe. Be well. Talk to you soon.